What would you think about having one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL, Jalen Ramsey, wearing a Ravens jersey? Just picture him playing alongside Marlon Humphrey, Roquan Smith, and the entire Baltimore defense. Sounds like a dream, right? But believe it or not, this could be more real than you think. Ramsey is available for trade, and if the Ravens act fast, this defense could become the most feared in the league. But why is this so important right now? What could happen if Baltimore lets this rare chance slip away? Stick with me until the end, and we'll break down how this move could completely reshape the future of the Ravens. Go Ravens! Ravens fans aren't fools. They know when the team is attacking the market, and when it's just playing it safe. And this offseason, it feels like Baltimore has been watching the market move without really stepping in. Sure, re-signing Ronnie Stanley is important, bringing in DeAndre Hopkins too. But let's be honest, outside of those two moves, the team has stood still while direct rivals built actual war machines. That kind of strategy might seem safe, but it hides a massive risk: stagnation. The NFL is a league where teams that don't evolve get left behind. And it's not just about raw talent. It's about creating an environment for growth, internal competition, and tactical evolution. When you don't bring in high-impact players, you stall. You get stuck in the same formula, and everyone already knows how to beat you. Lamar Jackson is in his prime. And that's exactly why this moment demands boldness. When you have an MVP quarterback, you need to surround him with the best, not hold back when it matters most. It's frustrating to see the Ravens with so much potential and still hesitating when it's time to be aggressive. The time to invest is now, not later when it's too late. And fans feel this in their bones. It's not enough to have a good team on paper. You need to take that extra step that separates contenders from champions. The AFC is packed with teams that won't think twice before spending or trading picks to take a real shot at the trophy. And the Ravens? Are they just going to watch again? Fans are tired of falling short in the playoffs with that same lingering feeling. Something was missing. And when the front office settles for less, the whole team enters the field with a thinner margin for error. In a league this competitive, that's the difference between playing in January and watching from home. And it's not just the fans. The locker room feels it too. Players want to win now. They know when management is going all in and when they're just managing. Failing to make aggressive moves send the wrong message to the team. Let's just see what happens. That's the opposite of what a championship-caliber franchise should be saying. And here's the big question. What if, suddenly, an elite player hits the market, a guy who can completely transform the defense, and the team just ignores it? Because that's exactly what happened with the bombshell that came out of Miami. When the news broke that Jalen Ramsey and the Miami Dolphins were ready to explore trade options, alarms should have gone off in Baltimore. It's not every day a cornerback of his level hits the market. 3-time All-Pro, a champion, dominant against both the pass and the run. One of the few defenders who completely changes how offenses approach the game. And the Ravens can't afford to ignore this. Not now. This kind of opportunity doesn't come around often. Ramsey isn't just another name. He's one of those guys you put on the field, and everything shifts. He makes quarterbacks hesitate. He disrupts routes, breaks receivers' rhythm, and he's one of the league's best against the run. This is the kind of talent that serious contenders must chase when available. What makes the situation even more appealing is that it's not about injuries, decline, or locker room drama. There's no baggage. It's a salary cap and planning decision by the Dolphins. In other words, the player is still elite and wants to compete. A nearly perfect fit for a team like the Ravens, always hovering around the playoffs, but needing that one piece to elevate to a true Super Bowl level. Fans understand the weight a player like this brings. Ramsey commands respect. He's vocal, confident, and delivers on the field. He wears a jersey with attitude, exactly the kind of presence that can ignite a defense. We've seen the impact of players like him in other franchises. Names that come in and change the culture, lift the whole team. The Ravens need that now. If Baltimore really want to go toe-to-toe with the AFC's elite, they need to act like it. Kansas City wouldn't hesitate. Buffalo will be dialing phones. Even the Bengals, division rivals, know you can't let a talent like this slip away. The Ravens can't be the team that almost made the move. Enough of that. This move will be more than just a technical upgrade. It would send a crystal clear message that the front office is focused on now, not on building something years down the road. That's what fans expect. A bold move that says, we're here to win. And Ramsey is exactly that kind of move. Safe, smart, game-changing. And what's even more impressive is that, looking at Ramsey's 2024 numbers, it's impossible to ignore just how much he still delivers at the highest level. And that's exactly what we need to talk about next. And can you picture the kind of impact a player like Jalen Ramsey would have come into Baltimore right now? Drop it in the comments if you also see how he could instantly transform the Ravens' defense, or if you remember another player who showed up and immediately changed everything. Let's talk about it. Some people look at age and assume Jalen Ramsey is past his prime, but just take a look at the numbers from last season to realize how far from the truth that is. In 2024, even on a team that dealt with inconsistency, Ramsey was a monster on the field. 2 interceptions, a constant presence against the run, and, most impressively, 12 quarterback pressures, leading all cornerbacks in the league in that category. That's not common. That's elite. So what does that mean in practice? That Ramsey isn't just a coverage cornerback. He's involved in blitzes, clogs a box, takes on running backs like a linebacker, and still locks down any wide receiver at the line of scrimmage. He's complete. While many DBs stand out in only one area of the field, he dominates in all of them. Coaches dream of players like this because they open up tactical possibilities few others can offer. PFF gave him an 85.7 grade as a run defender. That's extremely high, especially considering we're talking about a cornerback, not a safety or linebacker. That kind of versatility transforms an entire defense. When you have a player like that on the field, you can disguise formations, mass coverages, and confuse opposing offenses. And let's be honest, in a league where offenses are more creative than ever, defenses need to rise to the challenge. Baltimore has always had a strong defensive identity, and that's exactly why Ramsey fits this DNA so well. He's not the type of player who needs to adjust to the system. He sets the tone. He leads. He changes how opponents play. Put him in a locker room with Marlon Humphrey, Roquan Smith, and Kyle Hamilton, and the standard and intensity immediately skyrocket. You can't help but evolve with a guy like that next to you. Another point worth highlighting, he's still under contract. We're not talking about a star who's urgently seeking a new deal or chasing a massive payday. His contract with the Dolphins is still fresh, and any team that acquires him would have at least 2 years of security. That means the investment wouldn't be for a 1-year rental. It would be for sustained, solid, and immediate impact. For a defense that's already good, Ramsey makes it elite. For a franchise with championship aspirations, he's the kind of addition that turns a good team into one ready to win now. This isn't about potential. It's about proven results. And anyone who truly follows the NFL knows that comes with a price. But when a return is as certain, it's worth every penny. And it's exactly this perfect fit that Ramsey would have within a Ravens defense that shows just how rare and valuable this opportunity really is. When we talk about fit, it's not just about placing a talented player in an already strong group. It's about how that player changes the functionality of the entire unit. And Jalen Ramsey would do exactly that in the Ravens secondary. Picture him lining up alongside Marlon Humphrey and rookie Nate Wiggins. It's the perfect blend of experience, aggression, and youth. Each brings different strengths, but all are adaptable to multiple roles. And that's gold for any defensive coordinator. Ramsey could play opposite Wiggins, leaving Humphrey free to operate in nickel, where he has already proven to be extremely effective. But the most interesting part is that all three are versatile. That means Baltimore could rotate them smartly throughout games, switching coverages without subbing personnel. That kind of flexibility in the secondary gives the defense a fluidity that few teams in the NFL can match. And more than that, this flexibility allows the unit to match up against any type of offense. Facing a team that thrives on quick, short passes, Ramsey closes the space in the slot. A deep ball attack, he lines up outside and shuts down the top receiver. He adjusts to what the game demands, and that's a powerful weapon when going up against QBs like Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen in the AFC playoffs. Additionally, Ramsey's arrival would ease the burden currently on players like Kyle Hamilton. With another leader in the secondary, Hamilton would have more freedom to be used in blitz packages or to cover more aggressive zones. The same goes for Roquan Smith and the linebackers. The stronger the coverage, the more liberty the front seven has to attack. We must remember that Baltimore already has a good defense. But good isn't enough when your goal is a championship. The Ravens need to be suffocating, dominant, unreadable, and Ramsey is the kind of player who takes a system to that level. He turns what's solid into something feared. And when a defense is feared, the offense plays more freely. The entire team gains confidence. Another important point is culture. Ramsey is competitive, intense, outspoken, and demands the best from his teammates. There's no cruise control with him on the field. That's contagious. In tight games, he's the kind of voice that rallies a team, rattles opponents, and energizes the fans. And Baltimore, with its defensive tradition, has always been home to players like that. And when the moment is urgent, when the window is open and the title within reach, this is the kind of move that must be made, because time passes, and the chance to win can slip away if the team keeps hesitating. All right, we're heading into the fifth topic, but before that, I notice you haven't liked this video yet. That's super important, so YouTube keeps recommending this content to you. That way, I can keep bringing you the best coverage on the Baltimore Ravens. So go ahead and drop a like. It's free, all right? Let's continue. Every Ravens fan feels the same thing deep down. This team is ready, but time is ticking. Lamar Jackson is no longer promise. He's a reality, an MVP, an established star. But the NFL waits for no one. Championship windows open and close in the blink of an eye. And with every season that ends without the trophy, the feeling is one of waste. Baltimore is in that moment right now. There's no more time to wait for the perfect fit. Action is needed while there's still elite fuel left in this roster. The AFC is becoming a battlefield. Mahomes keeps stacking conference championships. The Bengals are always in the way. The Bills are still strong, and even teams like the Texans and Jaguars are building up with young talent. In this landscape, the Ravens can't settle for just being efficient. They need to be surgical. They need to bring in players who tip the scale. And that's where urgency comes in. When a name like Jalen Ramsey hits the market, you either make the bold move or watch another team do it and pay the price come January. The pressure doesn't just come from the fans. It comes from the locker room, too. Players can tell when management is committed to winning now. They know when it's all or nothing. And when that happens, the atmosphere shifts. Focus sharpens. Internal accountability rises. That's the kind of environment that turns a good campaign into a historic one. And with the foundation this team already has, any extra push can be the difference maker. Baltimore has a proven head coach, a dominant quarterback, a structured defense, and a winning culture. So what's missing? A bold step, a masterstroke that tells both opponents and the players, this is our year. Jalen Ramsey, with everything he represents, would be that message. He wouldn't come just to contribute. He'd come to change the tone of the conversation. He turns pressure into action. And that matters most when the stakes are highest. In the playoffs, when games get tight, the team with more experience, composure, and confidence usually comes out on top. Ramsey brings all of that. He's been to the Super Bowl, played key roles in legendary defenses, and faced the league's best receivers, and won. That kind of toughness is what's missing at the most critical point of the season. With each passing year, the risk of seeing this roster fall apart grows. The salary cap tightens, contracts expire, players age, injuries happen. So either the Ravens capitalize on this core now, or they risk watching the window shut without ever going all in. And there's nothing more frustrating for a fan than knowing their team had everything to win and chose not to take the risk. And to make things worse, if Baltimore doesn't move, the locker room feels it. And that's where elite leadership like Ramsey's becomes even more valuable. Beyond talent, Jalen Ramsey brings something few players in the NFL can sustain for so long. Presence. When he steps on the field, he changes the team's posture. He speaks up, demands, provokes, motivates, all with intensity. He's not the kind of player who hides. And on a team like the Ravens, built on experience in high-stakes battles, Adding a voice like Ramsey's might be exactly what's needed to ignite the group down the stretch. Baltimore has always been a team defined by defensive leadership. Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs, names that didn't just perform at a high level, but shaped the team's identity. Ramsey may not be a Raven by birth, but he carries that same competitive DNA. He doesn't settle for almost. He wants to win. He demands the same level of commitment from his teammates that he imposes on himself. And in a locker room that already features names like Roquan Smith and Marlon Humphrey, that creates a powerful command chain. That kind of leadership often separates good teams from champions. Because when the pressure's on, it's not the scheme that makes the difference. It's the level of commitment, intensity, and belief between players. When a guy like Ramsey leads the way, others follow. Young players develop faster. Veterans feel more confident. The entire environment shifts, and that shift directly impacts performance on the field. On top of that, Ramsey is the kind of player who understands a game. He reads formations, anticipates routes, and constantly communicates with the secondary. That makes life easier for the safeties, linebackers, and even the defensive line. When there's leadership on the field, the defense doesn't play reactive. It attacks. And that aggressive posture is what defined the greatest offenses in NFL history. With Ramsey, the Ravens return to that level of intimidation. And there's another key point. He's hungry. He wants to prove he's still elite. He wants to show he can lead another defense to the finals. That kind of motivation, combined with a structured and competitive team, creates a spark. We saw it with Von Miller in Los Angeles. We saw it with Matthew Judon in New England. When the fit is right, the impact is instant and the results follow. And for younger players like Nate Wiggins and Kyle Hamilton, having an example of Ramsey's caliber by their side is pure development. They'll grow faster, make fewer mistakes, and learn what it truly means to be a pro. In that sense, Ramsey isn't just a piece for 2025. He's an investment in the future of this defense. He leaves a legacy. He creates a new standard. If the Ravens truly want to establish a new era of dominant defense, they need to act now, before another contender sees the same opportunity and takes Ramsey off the board. And if you've made it this far, drop a comment saying Jalen Ramsey is the reinforcement the Ravens need. That way I'll know you also understand the impact he can bring to the locker room and the team's performance. Let's keep going. Now the clock is ticking. The draft is just around the corner, and as the Ravens prepare for another season, the opportunity to acquire Jalen Ramsey becomes increasingly urgent. There's no sense in waiting any longer. The NFL is full of teams chasing victories, making bold moves, and building their rosters to ensure a competitive future. Baltimore needs to be just as aggressive. The trade market can be unpredictable, but this opportunity is crystal clear. Ramsey is available. And if Baltimore doesn't move quickly, chances are another team, one that's more decisive, will see the opening and take the lead. If you're aiming for a championship, you need to stay one step ahead of the competition. There's no room for hesitation, especially with a talent of this caliber up for grabs. This isn't about a minor roster tweak or a long-term rebuild. Ramsey represents a major leap in quality for the Ravens' defense, an addition with both immediate and lasting impact. He can shift the momentum of any game, whether it's locking down receivers or applying pressure on the quarterback. Baltimore's defense will become one of the most feared in the league, and who wouldn't want to see that on the field? Of course, there are risks. Every major move comes with some level of uncertainty, but it's worth remembering that inaction, letting this opportunity pass, is a far greater risk. Baltimore's title window is now, with Lamar Jackson at the peak of his career and a defense already stacked with key pieces. Bringing in Ramsey could be exactly what's needed to turn this team into a championship force. On top of that, fans won't tolerate another season of almost. The demand for results keeps growing. Baltimore has proven it has the talent, but now it needs something more. Ramsey's arrival is that something more, the element that can catapult this team to the next level. There's no more room for empty promises. The time to act is now. And when you consider all the elements aligning, the urgency, the need for strong leadership, and the relentless pursuit of a title, only one question remains. Will Baltimore take the risk? Will they make the bold move? Or will they keep waiting? The truth is, The opportunity for immediate impact is right there. Baltimore needs to understand that if they want to get there, waiting is no longer an option. The time is now. Now, all that's left is a decision. Jalen Ramsey is the opportunity Baltimore needs to take that decisive step toward a championship. With him, the Ravens' defense will become nearly untouchable, with versatility, leadership, and that edge of intensity that's been missing. This isn't the kind of chance you let slip. Time is running out, and the window to win it all is wide open. The question is, do you think the Ravens will act, or will they wait another season and try again? Drop your take in the comments, because the time to act is now.
And if you, just like me, are passionate about the world of football and want to learn more about the Ravens' legacy, don't leave this video without sharing it with that friend who is also a Baltimore Ravens fan and will love this content. See those video suggestions on your screen? The first one was handpicked just for you, and the other is a recommendation from YouTube itself. See you there, and until the next video, go Flock.